Hey everyone, you're listening to Party Time, My Golf Story with Kevin Walsh and whatever special guest he has today. You can check me out on episode 9 of the podcast. Today I'm wearing Grayson clothes while I'm out practicing because I believe in look good, play good. And follow me on Instagram, Sophia Warren Golf, and hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the show. I have been waiting for this one for a long time. One of my dear old friends from the old neighborhood, my old head pro, Jack Connelly, past president of the PGA of America, is our guest. Jack is a Hall of Famer in the PGA section of Philadelphia, also the PGA of America. He's also a Hall of Famer at Deptford High School in South Jersey. I want to get to the bottom of that. But Jack is an old soul. He's been around the block. He has more credibility than anybody I know as a club professional. And he's still doing it, still involved at the age of 77. Way back when. I'm a child of the 80s, and he was my head pro at Huntington Valley Country Club in suburban Philadelphia, and had some good times, played some good golf with him, and my game is better because of Jack Connelly. Couple of things. This is the first recording since Hurricane Milton. My house suffered damage, cosmetic damage, but the good news is everybody's okay. And the eye of the hurricane came right over Lakewood National Golf Club, where we broadcast this podcast from, and it damaged several homes around here. I think everybody's okay. That's the good news. Everything can be rebuilt. But for those of my neighbors, and I know a lot of my neighbors like watching the podcast, if you're going through a tough time and you need some help, reach out to me. I'll help you out because you've helped me in the past. And better times and better weather are ahead. This is part of life living in Florida, is an occasional hurricane, although we've had 3 of them this year. And don't want to see a year like that for a long time. We can wait on that. But good luck to everybody. Hang in there. Better times are ahead. Big thanks to our title sponsor, Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course and you're tired of beer, if you're tired of crappy seltzers or whatever it is you're indulging in to enhance the experience, try a Party. Try a transfusion. I think you'll love it. And if it's not available at your golf course, then talk with your beverage director and say, we need Party here. And a big thanks to the golf real estate pros from suncoastdreams.com, Vince Visicaro and Gene Walsh. If your dream is to live in the greater Sarasota area, especially at a place like Lakewood National Golf Club, which will be back to normal and will be back stronger than ever, then they can help you out with your real estate needs. Nobody better than Vince Visicaro and Gene Walsh. All right, let's bring the man of the hour in. Jack Connelly, my old pro from Huntington Valley. Jack, it's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in years. But I kind of suspect, just like in our phone conversations, talking with your son, JP, that we're just going to pick up right where we left off. How you doing, buddy? What's going on?
I couldn't be better, Kev. It's really great to see you, too. JP tells me whenever he talks to you, he talks to you quite often, I understand. But, yeah, we missed you at the club when you and your brother and your dad left. And, what can I say? You were one of the bright stars at the club. We played a lot of golf. And we had some fun, and that's what golf's all about right now. Whenever I speak, I would always use the acronym GOLF, GOLF. It's a game of opportunities for lifetime friendships, and you've become a good friend because of that.
Well, if you golf, you're my friend, and you've been more than a friend to me. You've helped me in some difficult situations with my golf game, and you corrected me very fast, which I think is a testament to your wisdom, understanding the golf swing. And also understanding the player's mentality, because, I mean, you could fix me fast. You just say, Kev, you're a little fast. You're flipping it here. And I always remember you tried to get me hooking the ball when I was struggling. Now, I know that's a fundamental thing. What's the wisdom behind that?
Well, I wanted you to hit the ball square. when you go ahead and you go through the hitting area and you have an open club face, you're going to hit it high, weak, and right. And that's not the kind of golf that a good player uses. So I always tried to get you to hook the ball, because if you can hook it, we can always hit it straight. So that was one of the things that I always taught. And I'm also known for making sure you feel like you're hitting the ball with the right knee so that you get through it on your lower half.
Yeah, and it's a simplified version. Even sometimes we were exaggerating the hooks I was hitting, knowing that we could dial it in and do it pretty quickly. And I like the right knee. Hit the ball with your right knee, because everything follows it. If you just throw your right knee at the ball, everything's along for the ride, right?
Absolutely. The alignment's the key point. If your feet, hips, and shoulders, that alignment should be left and parallel of the right railroad track, which would be your target line. So by using the right knee, that keeps the club moving down your target line a lot quicker. If you stop your lower half, you're going to be pulling it to the left and hitting some wild hooks or big slices.
Let's get into the good stuff. So you were very complimentary of me. I don't know if you're gussying me up or something. Come on. How big of a pain in the ass was I at Huntington Valley?
You really weren't. I like to hang around Jimmy Garrettson and Billy Mitchell and Mike Minikowski. Those guys, we just had a little, Billy Mitchell just had some of the guys that work for me at the club, and I went over to Huntington Valley and had lunch with them all. And it was really great to see all the guys. And you guys that work for me, you did a hell of a job, and that's probably why I had the job at Huntington Valley for 38 years.
Well, the thing I liked about you, is, aside from being a hell of a player and an instructor, is you were a no-nonsense guy. I mean, you did not sugarcoat anything with me. So when I was acting like an ass, which was probably more often than you realized, but you realized enough, you called me out on it. Now, is that because you're old school, or did you understand my parents were old school and then you had license to just like treat me like your son and, you know, take care of business as monkey business was unfolding? Tell me.
I'm old school, and your parents are, but that had nothing to do with it. I just felt I could only help you if I was honest with you up front. And we needed to develop that communication line so that we could trust each other, so that when I said something, you knew it was no BS. It was something that I truly believed in, and I think that made both of us a better person.
Yeah, I think you're right. I hear your voice in my head. Kev, what are you doing, Kev? You know you're not supposed to be doing that. And it was true. I mean, I had nothing to push back on. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I better knock that off, at least until you turn your head. And then I went back and was doing my silly stuff.
But
so
if I touch again, I'd tell you again.
Exactly. I mean, it was a meritocracy. I was treated how I should have been treated. If I was being an ass, I was called out on it. But if I was doing good things, then people praised me. And I loved it. We need more of that. We need more honesty and just direct stuff. Let's go back to the beginning. Where does your golf story start? My dad's a Jersey boy. I didn't know you were a Jersey boy, but South Jersey, take me back to the old neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, my dad was in the Navy. He put 25 years in the Navy, and he retired in Oxnard, California. And we went back to Woodbury, New Jersey, where he was from. And Woodbury Country Club, which is no longer there. I remember caddying for the first time because my parents' anniversary was coming up and I needed some money to buy them a gift. And I can remember going to Woodbury Country Club, and that's when they had the old leather bags that were really big. And I can remember putting both of them on my shoulder. And after the first hole, I said only 18 more holes, but I made $10. That was the rate going back then. So that tells you how old I am. And I was able to buy him something nice. Then I started caddying at Tall Pines, where they have lights. And I was a short order cook there, so I could play most of the time. But I quit caddying when I could beat the people I was caddying for. So that was always fun for me.
Yeah. So how you were good pretty quickly. Is that right?
Well, I had a little natural ability, I think. I didn't go to college. I was in Sewell, New Jersey, where I worked at Tall Pines, and got a job as an assistant up in Montauk Point, Long Island, and went up there. And it was funny because my dad was trying to teach me the value of $1, and I'm 17 years old at the time, just graduated high school, and he charged me $10 a week for rent. And I paid him on a Monday, and on Wednesday I had gotten this job up in Montauk Point, so I asked him for half of the money back because I only spent a couple days there. So I went up to New York, Montauk Point. They liked what I was doing. And from there, we went down to Freeport, Bahamas, and opened up the Kings Inn Golf Club.
Wow, what was that like? So we have an island connection. I lived in 2 island chains, the Marianas Islands, Guam, U.S. territory. Did you ever go through there on your way to Vietnam or on the way back?
No, I went to when I went to Vietnam, we went to Seattle and then took a troop carrier over. It took us like 13 days. I was the third bunk out of 4, 3 flights down. But when we landed in Quy Nhon, and then we just flew to Pleiku, where I was stationed for a year.
What was the Vietnam experience like for you?
It was different. I mean, thank God, like I said earlier, that I did typing in high school. And about a week before we were due to rotate back home, we got rocketed and mortared at the compound in Pleiku. And every night after that, I slept with my clothes on, my rifle, and my weapon right there. And if the first one didn't get me, the second one had no chance because I'd be outside. But the nice thing is working for a full bird, I was able to get promoted to E5, which is the equivalent of a sergeant. So when I came back to the States, I was stationed at Fort Hood in Killeen, Texas, and went up to the golf course the first weekend. And that's where Orville Moody and Bob Payne were. Orville Moody, of course, won the U.S. Open. And found out, I said to him, how can I get stationed up here? And they said, well, if you re-up for another year, we can get you up here. And I said, no, thanks. I've only got 6 months left in my deal. So I was able to stay in the headquarters company there in Division II. And it was great because I got an early out. I was playing with the 3-star General Mather at the club and a 2-star in commanding general in the 1st Infantry Division. And I asked him if there was any chance I could get an early out to go back to the Bahamas, because as you know, I was part of the golf show called The Swing's the Thing. And we traveled over to Europe. We did the best trip I think we ever had. We went to Bangkok. We did a show for the Queen Mother of Thailand. We did a show at Expo 70. And we did that for about 3 years on 3 different occasions. BOAC sponsored it. And it was just a great experience for a 17-year-old kid who's never really been anyplace to do that and become part of the show. You learned how to hit some balls in front of a lot of people. And because of my playing ability and another player, we would always play demonstrations against the 2 club pros at the club we were doing it at. So it was really a lot of fun, and I cherish those days highly.
Yeah, golf was your ticket to the world. I mean, I've said it before. Everything I have in life, there's a golf connection to it. Sounds like that's kind of your story as well. Tell me about some milestones. Do you remember breaking 80 for the first time, breaking par? Take me back.
Well, the first time that I've ever that I played, I shot 101 up in Maine, and from there I was in the 90s, and I can't remember the first time. I mean, it just progressively got better, and because of my playing ability, I've won a lot of tournaments in the section, and it's just been a lot of fun. I mean, you put a lot of work in. I really had no formal instructor. Just got out there and hit the ball and worked through it myself. And that's why I think I know the swing a little bit more than some people who just have it natural.
Yeah, your swing is fast, but it's very simple. And I think I remember you were always trying to get me to simplify things. I'll never forget, we had a playing lesson, and after the 8th hole, you asked me, are you firing at every pin you see? And I'm like, yes, of course. And you're like, if you just aim for the fat of the green every now and then, you'll never have more than like 20, 25 feet, which is an easy 2-putt. You might push your pull 1 or 2 right on line, and then you got a birdie thing, and then you stop short-siding yourself. And I never forgot that, because that was, it's vanilla golf, but that's your golf, isn't it? Yeah.
The more greens you hit, the better you're going to score. And when I could play, I never practiced chipping because I would hit 16, 17, and sometimes 18 greens around. So there was really no reason to practice chipping. But the more greens you hit, and then, I played the tour. And once I became a member out of the Bahamas, I played the tour in 1972 and played in about 7 or 8 tournaments, and decided then that I didn't have the talent So that's when I got the job as the assistant at Huntington Valley in 1972.
Well, take me back to the tour days. I mean, did you know right away you didn't have the stuff? I mean, how hard was it? Like, it seems like a lot of people think the PGA Tour is very glamorous, but when you peel the curtain back, it's less so, and you just got to take our word for that. I imagine it was even less glamorous back in 1972. You tell me.
Well, when you never played golf before. I mean, my dad was not a country club member, nor was I. And whatever playing I did as a caddy. And playing the tour was a lot of fun. We did a lot of traveling, my wife and myself. And it made me a better player locally, so that when I came back to the Philadelphia section, I was able to get some nice awards: 4-time Player of the Year and 4-time DeBarfrey scoring average champion. So those are the kinds of things that the tour helped me understand what I needed to do to shoot a good score.
Jack Connelly is our guest here on Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by the Golf Real Estate Pros of Vince Vizicaro and Gene Walsh from SuncoastDreams.com. If you want to live in the greater Sarasota area, especially at Lakewood National Golf Club, they are the people for you. And a big thanks to Party Drinks, the title sponsor. If you're looking for a beverage alternative on the golf course, try Party, try a transfusion. I think you're going to like it. Jack, what's the lowest round of golf you ever played? Take me there.
It was 10 days before I got married. I went to Royal Ponciana in Naples, Florida. The course record at the time was 65, and I shot 4 under on the front side. And on the back side, I went par, birdie, par, and then I finished with 6 birdies to shoot 61. So that was the lowest round I've ever shot, 11 under par.
Were you thinking about your score, or were you in the zone? Walk me through it. I want to know. What were you feeling?
I was in the zone. I could have made a putt that day, Kevin, if it was around the corner. It's just one of those days, and you've had them, where it doesn't matter what you do. It just comes right through, and you can make every putt. It seems like a basket rather than a 4.5-inch hole.
Were you nervous coming down the stretch because you knew you had a good round going, or you were oblivious to where you stood?
Not really. When you got it in the zone, you just keep firing. That's when I learned off of you, and I started going for the flag sticks.
Not when we played. You never went for the flag stick, but it was smart. I mean, you beat me to death with pars. Describe the old caddy yard at Huntington Valley, because this was the 80s. We had grown men. We had sons of members. We had the Bishop McDevitt kids, and this was like a panoply of people, and led by Joe Betzel, the old caddy master. For those that weren't there, can you maybe give a feeling for what it was like?
Well, we had a couple benches in the back, and we had some members when they showed up, Iron Mike Ritterman and Ted Wilson. I can remember we would go get them. They would play every Saturday and Sunday morning. And when we went to get a caddy for them, they all disappeared, because their tip to the caddies was they wouldn't play holes 14 and 15. So that was their tip of the day. So it was a great time. They played some cards back there. But the nice thing about all the caddies that we had at the club is when it came time to do your job, everybody did it exceptionally. And that's why they kept on and stayed with us.
Well, I love Joe. I mean, he was a hard ass in the best of ways. And I'll never forget, I was sitting on the wall one time waiting to get out, and he was walking around. He's like looking at all of us, and he's like, and all you little piss spots are going doubles today because I don't have enough caddies. And I was 14 at the time. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make it. But you know what, Jack? I made it, and it was double the money, and I never looked back after that. Well,
Joe was great. I know that toward the end, because I paid the caddy master at the club, and a couple of the board members were saying, you got to get him to do this and you got to get him to do that. And I said, well, as soon as you start paying him, I'll consider that. But I'm paying him, and I'm paying him for his loyalty and his years of service to me and you, the members. So when he went out on Saturday and Sunday and read the newspaper in a cart, that was fine with me.
Yeah, he was his own man. I loved him. My parents loved him. He was as old school can get. So tell me this: how did you become president of the PGA? I know there was a ramp up to it, but like, how did the process begin?
Well, when I after I got back on the from playing the tour, Dick Smith, who was a good friend of mine, and he's the past president. He passed away last year. I got involved in the section, and because I was a good player, I used to complain a lot and didn't like the way that some of the events were run. And Ronnie Rolfe at North Hills, who had been there for 40 some odd years, had said, "How the hell are we going to keep Connelly quiet?" And Ronnie said, "That's easy. Put him on the committee." So I got on the committee. I got involved in the local politics. I did the secretary. I did the vice president, and I became president. And because of that, the club allowed me to run for national office. They in our association, we have 41 sections, and we have 14 districts. And the district that Philadelphia is in is District 2, which is Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Metropolitan New York. And on a 3-year basis, they elect somebody to the board. And in our section, I joke about it. I said there were 13 on the board, and I asked. They said anybody who wants to run, just send in a letter. So I sent in a letter, and behold, I won. I was the only one that ran, and I won 7-6. But they allowed me to do that, and then when I became board member, I was in charge of a couple high-profile committees. The awards committee, and I did that for 3 years. And a couple of the past presidents at the time came up and said, we kind of like your style. We think you'd be a great officer. And to be honest, Kevin, not going to college, I've always felt everybody was a lot smarter than I was. But neither here nor there, I asked the club if I could run for national office. And I think they gave me permission because they didn't think I could get elected. So in 1992, I got on the board, and in 1995, I ran for national office. And in our association, as I said, we have 41 sections, so each section has 2 votes. So that was 82. We had about 15 or 16 board members and officers, and then we had all the past presidents. So when I ran, I won in San Diego. There were 5 different people running. And it was the first time that in the PGA history, we were using automatic vote tallies. And before, we would use the paper ballots and then wait. This time, Dick Smith, as the honorary president who runs the campaign or runs the officer deal, we did it in 5 votes. It took 5 times to actually get the majority, and you needed a majority. So I needed 58 votes out of 116 people or 115 people in order to get elected. And we won on the, like I said, the 5th ballot.
Holy smokes. So let me skip a couple steps and get to like important moments. September 11th. Why don't you just tell me, I'm sure you know where you were and what you were doing when the attacks happened. And then that later had a domino effect with the scheduling or the canceling of the Ryder Cup, the rescheduling of it, and things that you had to do.
Yeah, actually, we were in West Palm Beach having a board meeting at the time. And we were on our first morning there. And I can remember staff coming in and telling us what had happened in New York. So we turned on the TV and we watched it like every American did. And bottom line is during lunch, I just made a comment to all of the board members and the officers that were there. I said, we have 2 options. We can either finish what we came to do, or we can all go home to our families. And to their credit, everybody said, let's finish what we came here to do. We rented cars for everybody, and everybody left the next day and drove home to be with their families, which they needed to be.
And then the decision to delay.
Well, the decision to delay took Jim Autry, who was our CEO at the time. We were in constant contact with the tour, and we really didn't have an opportunity to secure the safety of all of the players. So bottom line it was the first time that we ever postponed the Ryder Cup. And because of our association with the tour, who had the President's Cup, they moved the President's Cup to an even year, and we went to an odd year.
Got it.
So
and
it was great.
And then you later had to address what happened on September 25th.
September 25th, that was probably my proudest moment. I have two proud moments that I'll be remembered for in the PGA is representing 28,000 men and women at Tribute to America in San Antonio, Texas. All of the allied associations were there. The tour was there. And on behalf of the players, giving $200,000 and the PGA giving an additional $500,000, we were able to give the United Way for the people who were affected by the 9/11 over $1.2 million, which was really great.
Was it difficult for you to speak and get your thoughts together? Were you nervous?
I wasn't nervous. I had read my notes so many times, Kevin. I could look at you and actually read it. I'm one of those guys that, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't get really nervous. Although I don't like talking, and I don't like talking in front of a bunch of people. But the moment dictated that I had to be a little stronger than maybe I normally was. But some of the past presidents were very kind in their comments about me and the job that I did that day, and they knew that I would be a good president because of the way I handled that situation.
Oh man, that's good stuff there. I want to get into JP. I know you're very proud of him, and you had the distinct honor to bring him into the PGA of America fold. But I skipped over one thing. The 99 Ryder Cup comeback. I remember, so like I was building what turned out to be a very mediocre TV news and sports career. And I always wanted to get back to Philadelphia, and I did in 2003. And so I came back to Huntington Valley. Do you remember we did like a news story on CN8, the old Comcast network?
Yep.
And we played like a hole. And then later, I never imagined I would end up in Boston and caddying at the Country Club at Brookline, the scene of Justin Leonard making the putt on 17, and then the Americans trampling the green and the Europeans getting all bent out of shape about that. But I'll never forget. I asked you. I said, Jack, this is a big. Is this hubbub real? I mean, were the Americans wrong doing what? Do you remember what you said, or do you want me to tell you what you said?
Go ahead. I know that they were excited, and I didn't have a problem doing what they were doing.
All right. So I said, were the Americans, were they out of line, and do the Europeans like have a legitimate beef? And you said something to the effect, hell no, they're just sore losers because they got their asses kicked. And I thought that was so good.
That's probably more of what I would have said. Yeah.
That sounds like something you would say.
I'm going to become somewhat politically correct, although at my age now, Kevin, it doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you the way it is.
Exactly, because that's the way it was. Okay, and I just thought that was ballsy as hell. All right, good. Let's talk about JP. JP is now the head pro at the Catanza Club in Marion, Mass, which is an unbelievable place. But bringing him into the fold of the PGA, you had the distinct honor to do that. And you're well, why don't you tell the story? Why it was so special to you?
Well, it was special to me because I was the first sitting president to give his son or daughter their PGA membership. And it was our first graduating class down at Port St. Lucie in the education department. And on February 16th, 2002, I was able to give my son his PGA membership, which was very proud moment for me. And he talks about it still today, how proud he was that he got his PGA membership from his dad, who was president of the PGA at the time. That's 6'2" and good looking. I always joke he may not be mine, but I've raised him. And as you know, he grew up around the club. And during my years as president, I called him up and I said, JP, you owe me 1 year of your life, and I'm calling it in now. Because when I was away as much as I was as president, you're on the road probably 180 to 200 days a year, which is why I probably kept my job a little longer than I should have. But it was fun, and it's a great honor to have him be the head pro at Catansic and to give him his membership. That was one of the proudest moments. Between 9/25 Tribute to America and giving him his PGA membership, that's something that I'll be known for.
Yeah, he's turned out to be a fine young man, a fine golf professional, and I enjoyed time with him when I was living in the Boston area from 2009 to 2020. Back to the Ryder Cup. Any good stories like other than like they got their asses kicked and they were sore losers? As you were administration, but were you guys invited to some of the parties? Any good memories stand out to you?
Well, the nice thing about being an officer, you're staying in the same hotel as the players. So you always have access to their locker rooms. But we knew our place and we wanted to stay away and give them what they needed. We were there for support, and we got to know a lot of the guys that, the Tigers and all those guys that knew how to play. Watson. We lost more than we won when I was captain or when I was president at the Belfry in 2002. We lost the Ryder Cup there. So it's about time that we start kicking some butt. And I think where it's at right now with the committee is good and bad. At one time, the officers of the PGA used to determine who the captain was going to be, and we asked them. And right now, because we had gotten lost so many times, I think they've come up with a committee system now that personally I'm not in favor of, but it really doesn't matter. It's not my football anymore.
Yeah, I got it. But I do like Keegan Bradley. I mean, that guy just oozes everything American. And I know he has unfinished business as a player in the Ryder Cup, and maybe he can make it right as captain. So you retired from Huntington Valley. Great run. 1975 to 2010, but you're not. What are you doing now? You're still working, and I suspect you will work forever.
Yeah, well, when you're an old pro, you wake up in the morning, you go to work, and then you come home at night. There's nothing that I enjoy more. It's not a job to me. I enjoy people, as you know, and as a result, I got a job 4 miles away from Huntington Valley, so it's 8.2 miles. One way to the club, and they call me an ambassador there. If you take the AMB and the ADOR off, that's kind of what I am. But I run the outings, I teach, I play, kind of do what I want. And Mike Riley, who is a junior at the club, is our general manager, and Mickey Sikowski, who is at Philmont, is the head pro. And they let me kind of do what I want. And in retirement, I can't ask for a better gig.
How is your game now?
It's still competitive, but I haven't played competitively for a while. I had cataract surgery about 5 years ago, and I have a fourth nerve palsy in my right eye. So when I look to the left, from about 10 feet, I see 2 holes. So I'm still trying to work through that, but I'm still shooting my age when I play. So I can't complain about that, but I'm not going to be competitive anymore, Kev, because instead of hitting it 1 inch to the right of the hole or 1 inch left, I'm basically hitting in the general area now. And hopefully that my playing ability at one time, the speed and everything takes care of itself. I mean, the other day I played and I hit 16 greens. So that's, as you pointed out earlier, the more greens you hit, the better you're going to play. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on now.
So how many times?
Enjoy it.
Yeah. You love it. It just, you get in the zone. Is that your happy place, your peaceful place, or are you fighting it?
No, I'm not fighting it. It's still fun to go out and play. I really enjoy playing with the members now. At one time, I probably wouldn't do it because I'm just too competitive. Now I go out because I have good friends, and I enjoy the game, and they enjoy the game, and we like to tell jokes when we're out there playing, and it's a lot of fun. That's what golf at my age is all about: fun and enjoy it.
I need some more of that. I'm still, I get very annoyed with myself when I play bad golf, and clearly my good playing days are behind me. I need more of that attitude and just enjoy it for what it is. Although I played pretty good today, and that makes me 1 under for 9 holes. Birdied the first 2 holes, but my handicap's 3.8, and that bugs the crap out of me. It's not bad, but
you're better than that, but you don't have a lot of time to practice, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. And the skills have eroded. So, I mean, I'm trying to be more honest with myself, but I can't help myself. I'm insufferable. How's your health, Jack?
My health is good.
Yeah.
Last year, my wife passed in February 16th. JP and I were talking. That was the day I gave him his membership a couple of years ago. But trying to get back in shape, I walked the golf course and I had some shortness of breath. Make a long story short, I had a triple bypass and an aortic valve last year in July. And I'm having fun now. I'm healthy. Apparently, my Widowmaker was 100% block, which I didn't know about. But Dr. Watson, who you probably remember as a cardiologist, it was Inga's and now mine. I got through it in zero pain and zero discomfort. So I'm healthy. I'm having fun. and I'm enjoying life a lot more.
Tell me this: do you feel like a new man? Like once everything was cleaned up, you're just like, oh my God, I have my breath back and stamina, or was it a slow burn?
To be honest, it was a slow burn. And I still, when I went over to Ireland this year, we were playing Ballybunion in about a 35-mile-an-hour wind. And you've been over there, I'm sure, and playing those hills. I quit after 13 because I didn't want to be dying on Ballybunion. So it kind of tells me that I don't need to walk that much anymore and take a cart at my age and just enjoy the people that I'm with.
Hey, tell me this, the Hall of Fames, you're in at least three. I may be leaving one out. PGA of America Hall of Fame, Philadelphia PGA Section Hall of Fame, Deptford High School Hall of Fame. Which one makes you beam with the most pride?
Well, probably, to be honest, the PGA of America, because that means that I was president, that I used to be somebody important at one time. Now I'm part of the Who's He group, which is fine with me. I get most of the perks and no responsibility. So that's always been a fun part for me. But everyone is special. I was in the Gloucester County, the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame for Montgomery County. So, I've been very lucky. I owe a lot to golf, and I can never take I can never replace what the game has given me, because I've gotten more out of it than I've given back to the game.
Well, I might push back on that a little bit. You have given a lot to the game. Arnold Palmer Service Award, the only golf professional ever to get it. Tell me about that.
Well, one of my friends who was president of the Gap at the time, Rich Meehan, they were having a meeting, and at this meeting they were determining or asking if anybody should get the Distinguished Service Award and or the Arnold Palmer. And my president, my friend and president at the time, went around the room, and Terry Sawyer, who was at Yardley, made a comment. He said, well, the Arnold Palmer Lifetime Achievement Award is a no-brainer. It's Jack Connelly. And they went around the table, and basically I won unanimously. And like I said earlier, I'm the only golf professional that's won it up to this point. It's probably about a 25-year-old award that only 5 people have won it. Gordon Brewer, who won 2 senior amateurs, and Sir Michael Benalik is also an award winner. And it's just something special when you get recognized by an allied association. And it's really special. I hold that very dear, because like I said, I'm the only pro up to this point that's received it.
Yeah, and anybody that can attach their name to Arnold Palmer is that's something to beam with pride about. I'm proud of you for that. So we're winding down here, Jack. Just tell me. I mean, I think you've expressed it pretty well, but I'll just kind of let you have the final word here. What would your life be like without golf? And how important is golf to the center of your being?
It's everything, Kevin. I mean, when I was a kid, I've got a brother that's 13 months younger than I am. And my dad used to ask on the weekends who wants to help around the house. And every now and then I'd say, I do. And he'd say, no, that's okay. I was hoping your brother'd beat you to it. Being a jock and not too mechanically inclined, or not mechanically inclined at all, sports has been everything to me. And golf has been a lifesaver. As I said earlier in the podcast, that golf is a game of opportunities for lifetime friendships. And I've made a lot of friends and met a lot of special people. And I can't imagine what it would do. And certainly when Inga was alive, it was important that I took her and showed her the world. For 52 years, 5 months and 18 days, we were a team. And I'll never forget that. The game has given me more than, like I said, I've given back.
Yeah, that's so well said, and to be able to share it with your life partner. I'm sorry about your loss with there, but that was a great run, and golf showed you the world. And same for me. I just can't imagine life without my life without golf in it. And you and I don't know each other without golf. So
correct.
Thank you for being my friend, Jack. Thank you for being my teacher, and for being the conscience of golf, and being a good leader with the PGA and at Huntington Valley and everywhere else you go. And hopefully we can get together and play some golf in the not too distant future, either in Florida, or I'll come back and we'll play at North Hills, Huntington Valley, or somewhere else. All right.
you ever get in this area, it's a game.
Yep, you got it. Okay, all right.
Kevin,
I need some
thank you
shots.
very much.
I need some shots.
No, you
Jack,
don't. I'm 77 years old, for God's sakes.
Yeah, fair enough. You're right.
Okay.
Common sense. Jack Connelly's been our guest here on Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, then Party is for you, especially Transfusion. And a big thanks to the golf real estate pros from suncoastdreams.com, Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro. If your dream is to live in the greater Sarasota area, especially at Lakewood National Golf Club, call Vince or Gene and they'll get you all taken care of. For Jack Connelly, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time on Party Time, My Golf Story.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.
This is Vince Vizzacaro and Gene Walsh with the suncoastdreams.com real estate team at Fine Properties. We've helped hundreds of families find their dream homes in golf and resort communities in Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton, Sarasota, Parrish, Venice, and the surrounding areas.
Let us be your guides to finding your dream home here as well. Learn more at suncoastdreams.com or call us at 941-220-4000.